You know about climate change, but do you know about these threats to the planet? Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. What are some of the things that we really should be thinking about, doing something about, contemplating, considering, discussing, that we might be missing? And what are some of the things that we're talking about? Maybe we're talking about in the wrong way. Professor Lord Martin Rees is on the line with us. He is the United Kingdom's Astronomer Royal and a founder of the Center for the Study of Existential Risks at Cambridge University and the 60th president of the Royal Society. He's the author of 10 books. His most recent, On the Future, Prospects for Humanity, published by Princeton. His website is Martin Rees, MartinRees.UK. And his Twitter handle is Lord Martin Rees. Lord Rees, welcome to the program, or Professor Lord Rees. What are the underappreciated risks that we are underappreciating?
The 20th century world is unique because the world's been around for 45 million centuries. But this is the first when one species, namely the human species, has the fate of the planet in its hand and can determine whether we have a brighter future or whether we foreclose all those huge potentialities of the many millions of centuries that lie ahead. And the reason this is happening is partly that we have a more numerous human population, all more demanding of energy and resources. And also, we have more powerful technology. And this will allow us to do amazing things, but also it leads to the risks. And also one thing we've learned for COVID-19, which is a wake-up call, is that anything that spreads across a continent will then spread globally.
Mm-hmm. So where are we deficient in our focus? Alarm is not quite the word that I'm looking for here, but what are the things that we really need to be paying a whole lot more attention to? Both in terms of popular discussion and scientific work, that we are not?
Well, I think in terms of popular discussion, what we've got to do is think longer term. Of course, most politicians think as far as the next election, and they think about their constituents, but all the issues that are confronting us now, whether it's climate change, loss of biodiversity, controlling the use of the internet and all these things, they have to be handled globally. And this is the big challenge for us. And we have to, as it were, be good ancestors. We've inherited a great deal from previous generations, and we mustn't screw things up. We've got to make sure that we lead for future generations something which we can be proud to have carried on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to move from the general to the specific. Stephen Hawking was outspoken in his concern that artificial intelligence represented an existential threat to the human race. You've got others who are speaking out, Bill Gates and others who are speaking out about the dangers of viral mutations or viruses, or just the fact that we are invading formerly pristine ecosystems that humans have never interacted with before, and maybe encountering organisms, most likely viruses, but also possibly fungi, or however you say that word, fungus, and bacteria that we may have no defenses against, and we might not be able to quickly mobilize defenses against. There are people who have, for now my entire lifetime, been talking about the existential danger of nuclear war. We've got now a new book out pointing out that in the United States, sperm counts have dropped 45%, that they believe this is the result of hormone-interrupting chemicals that are just everywhere in our food supply because they're used to make paper products, waterproof essentially, these kind of Teflon precursors, and that if we were to render the human species infertile, we would be the last generation of humans. I mean, each one of these things is, you know, a world-ending sort of scenario, at least in the context of the human race.
Yes,
what are your thoughts
quite
on
right.
ranking these? And have I missed anything?
Yes, well, my book on the future prospects for humanity addresses all of these things. And if you ask me what my greatest concern is, it is probably, at least on the next 10 or 20-year time scale, pandemics. As you said, natural pandemics are going to arise at a higher rate because of more crowded locations and more interaction between humans and animals, etc. And of course, they will spread more rapidly because of more communication around the world. But even worse than that, I am terrified about the possibility of engineered pandemics because the techniques needed to make a virus more virulent and more transmissible exist. And unlike making a nuclear weapon, these don't need any hugely expensive or elaborate equipment. And they could be done by people in a dual-purpose lab, in a university, or in an industry. And I think it's going to be very hard indeed to reduce to zero the prospect of some bad actor, as it were, releasing some kind of virulent virus. We could only do this by having extremely intrusive surveillance. And one thing that's going to concern us all very much is the tension between security, freedom, and privacy.
Yeah, I absolutely get it. The one thing I think I left off that list was climate change, which is turning out to be an existential risk too.
Climate change and biodiversity are things we should be concerned about, and they're really a collective action. Whereas a disaster of a kind caused by a bioweapon could be just by one bad actor. And as I say in my book, the global village will have its village idiots, and they will now have a global raid. So I do worry very much about that. As regards AI, I don't worry so much about this in the long term. I think that we are going to have to worry about the breakdowns in computer systems if we depend on them too much. But I'm really on the side of Rodney Brooks, the inventor of the Roomba vacuum cleaner and the Baxter robots, who said that for a long time we'll need to worry less about artificial intelligence than about human stupidity.
Yeah, I'm with you. We have just 20 seconds until we're going to hit a hard break here. Is this a job for the United Nations? How do we handle these things?
Well, I think regulations need to be enforced by the United Nations as best they can, but enforcing the drug laws or the tax laws globally is not very easy. But we also have to have some international body to regulate these multinational conglomerates in the context of the internet.
Well said. Professor Lord Martin Rees, his new book, On the Future, Prospects for Humanity. Lord Martin Rees is his Twitter handle, martinrees.uk is the website. Professor Rees, thank you so much.